Laredo College offers a variety of services for our veterans. There's a whole department dedicated solely to that. And joining us this morning is the Director of Veteran Services, Albert Hernandez. Albert, good morning. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having us here.
Well, thank you for your service to our country. I know you served in the Marine Corps, and so tell us a little bit about your service.
My experience. Yes, so I did serve in both the Marine Corps and in the Texas Army National Guard. So my service goes back to right about the mid-90s. I served from 1996 to 2000 in the Marine Corps. My occupation there was basically looking at warehouse inventory, logistics, that type of operations. And then a few years later, I decided to stick around California. A few years later, I came back to Laredo, went to school here at Texas A&M International. And then there, I decided to join up again in the Texas Army National Guard, and I did 6 years there. So I have a total of 10 years of military service.
Yeah. It's important as the Director of Veteran Services to have that connection, to have been part of the service, to know what your fellow veterans go through.
I think it's an extra perk to have that. Yeah. Absolutely, it's beneficial. I do think that the veterans can relate to one another. And even though we have veterans, younger veterans that have recently left their military service, and even individuals that I got to serve with do come through our doors, and individuals that served decades before I did. Mm-hmm. And as soon as we know we're talking to another veteran, they pick up on that. You see their comfort level kind of come in, and it's beneficial to them. And, we're speaking the same language.
Yeah. It's usually the case that when you hear of veterans, you think of the older veterans. But like you mentioned, there's people that are serving now and that are going to get out, and they'll be veterans as well. So really, it's you run the gamut.
Absolutely. So, I can tell you, at least from my personal experience, it takes several years, for an individual themselves to identify as a veteran, right? I think in general, the public might be thinking, or when they think of a veteran, what comes to mind is the older mm-hmm. veteran with their service cap, their uniform with the different veteran organizations that they may participate in. And I think that's what we tend to see more. And the younger veteran, they're still in their 20s, some in their 30s or 40s, depending on how many years they serve. Mm-hmm. But some of our younger veterans are still below the age of 25.
When I first met you, I couldn't make the connection between Laredo College and veteran services. I thought, why would Laredo College need veteran services? But as I've come to have more conversations, I've realized, thanks to you, that there is a need for a veteran services office here on campus. Tell us why that is.
Well, there's two things. The veteran services community has been here, and they do come to school, they get educated. So a lot of our students are looking for terminal degrees here. It might be a certificate as short as a one-semester certificate, a level 1 certificate, or they're looking at completing one of their associate's degrees and possibly transfer to one of our universities, either here locally in Laredo or anywhere across the state or the nation. Interestingly, one of the things that our president, Dr. Menita Ramirez, has done is really kind of emphasize a lot of our historical impact that we have as Laredo College with our military roots, mm-hmm. right? And trying to reconnect to that and not forget how our campus basically became Laredo College, right? So we do have an area on campus known as Veterans Walkway. It's still growing, and we're looking at having a new building that's going to be refurbished in the next couple of years, to where we're going to have our veteran community basically be there in close conjunction to some of our memorials that we do have on campus, such as the Private Berkeley Cantu Chapel. There's a statue with him across the walkway there. And obviously just being able to be here available to serve our veterans, and not only our veterans, but also our veteran dependents. In many cases, family members such as spouse or children of veterans may qualify for some of the benefits.
That's interesting. I wouldn't have realized that. I didn't realize that. And so, in essence, there's a veteran's presence on campus. The fact that we're Ford Macintosh,
Correct.
alone has that military, that veteran connection. And then, in addition to that, the things that are happening here on campus. Albert Hernandez is the director of Veteran Services. We're talking about the many benefits that veterans may not be aware of, the many services that they can find out about here on campus. I know there's a lot of information, Albert, but what's the one thing that veterans don't realize that they have available to them?
Well, there's, depending on their time of service and the service discharge that they had, is really going to dictate what type of educational benefit that is available to them. In some cases, generally speaking, a lot of people are familiar with the GI Bill. So there's, in short, there's two different types of GI Bill. There's the Montgomery GI Bill, which is known as Chapter 30, and the post 9/11 GI Bill, right? So in some of the things, some of the benefits like Chapter 30, it expires 10 years after service.
Okay.
So the younger the veteran is, or the sooner that they want to make a commitment to come to school, they should come by, visit with us, give us a call, send us an email, and we'll look into the situation, their individual situation, to see what benefit they have and how much time frame they have to use it. More recent veterans, those that recently got out after 2018 through now and in the future, do have now what's known as the post 9/11 GI Bill, also known as the Forever GI Bill. This particular GI Bill does not expire. So the individual could be 10, 15, 30, 40 years down the road after their service, and those educational benefits will still be available to them, assuming that their eligibility allowed them to have the benefit in the first place. But so it really doesn't matter what age they are, there's benefits that's available to them. And in the case that some of the GI Bill benefits may have expired, one of the benefits in the state of Texas is the Texas Hazelwood Act. And that's available to our veterans as well, that maybe didn't have the time or the time expired for them to use the GI Bill, that they can use now the Texas Hazelwood Act. This one doesn't pay them money, but it does waive about 85 to 90% of the tuition that they would be paying to the college.
Is there something for every veteran? Is there some sort of benefit for every veteran?
Yes and no. So usually there is something just about for every veteran, unless they have totally consumed either their federal and their state benefits, right? But even if they have been consumed, chances are that they might be eligible for financial aid or might be available for some of the scholarships that are available here at Laredo College.
So if you've never taken classes before, if you've never taken any college courses, chances are you've got something to help you.
Absolutely. And maybe if it was Chapter 30 in the earlier years, somebody that maybe served in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, we can assume that that benefit had expired. But if they have not come to school, Ruben, then we can definitely look at the Texas criteria to see if they meet the eligibility to tap into their Hazelwood benefits.
Now, once they find out their eligibility or what they have available to them, does your office also assist them with the process of getting into Laredo College or wherever it is that they would like to go?
Great question. So our office here is a dedicated office for veterans and for dependents. So what we are able to do is that we have a small computer lab in our office, and we can help them in completing their Texas Common Application for admissions into Laredo College. We'll help them apply for their federal and their state benefits in our office. And if we need to pick up the phone and call the VA and ask more questions to make a determination if they're eligible or not, ultimately the decision is made by the federal government, by the Veterans Administration, but we'll certainly help them obtain as much information as possible. We'll guide them through the process if they need to take the Texas the State Initiative Assessment, the TSI. We'll guide them through that. If the veteran is the one in question, there is a TSI waiver, so they don't need to take the college placement exam. But in the case of dependents do still need to meet the TSI criteria eligibility to enroll in college level classes. We'll certainly help them with that process. We'll even handheld them to a certain extent, walking them over to get advised, so where they have more questions about the academic or workforce program that they're interested in, so that they can make a wise decision on the educational program that's going to be best for them. So we'll help them as much as possible. And again, our office is dedicated to serve the veterans and the veteran families, their dependents.
Yeah, and it's definitely a case-by-case basis. Everybody is different.
Absolutely.
So it's really just a matter of making the call to your office or coming by the office. What if a family, what happens if a veteran, doesn't want to call? They just feel like, nah, I don't want to do this, but maybe you can call for me. Could somebody call on behalf of a veteran?
We get that quite a bit. So one of the most common things that we get from our dependents is we have either the spouse or the children, a child of a veteran. And they'll come by and they're like, hey, my dad's a veteran. They told me to come by and ask. Many a times, even the veterans themselves are not fully aware of the educational benefits that are there. So we do a lot of coaching and teaching of the benefits, right? So if there's a veteran in your life, in your community that you're unsure about, we're certainly going to be able to provide some responses. Here they're general responses. Obviously, we won't be able to go in great detail because of FERPA constraints, but we're going to help them with as much general information and let them know what documentation that we're going to need to review to make a determination on the benefits that they might be entitled to.
Yeah, and we'll put the information on a graphic here in just a little bit how they can contact your office, Albert. But what's the one message that you have for veterans about your office here at Laredo College?
Veterans, we're individuals that we have a great benefit, a great opportunity that unfortunately a lot of veterans don't take full advantage of. Whether it's them themselves continuing with their education, or in some cases where they can transfer those benefits to their dependents, that they don't share that information. And my one message to them is, take advantage of the opportunity that's been given to you. And not only given to you, but you've earned it because of the service to our community. And in many cases, the benefits don't stop with the veteran alone, that he can benefit the dependents, the spouse, or the children of veterans. And what better gift than the gift of education?
Yeah.
That basically it's the gift that keeps on giving, and the sky's the limit in terms of what you want to be able to accomplish in terms of reaching your educational goals.
Yeah, veterans have served our country. They've put their lives on the line for our country. This is one of the ways where the country can give back to them as through an education.
Absolutely, and just really short in a discussion, really quick in this is there's some benefits. There's some veterans out there as well that they'll stop in seeking additional services. And one of the other things is that if you're a veteran that has a service-connected disability and you have reached that 100% service-connected disability, there's additional benefits potentially for the veteran and certainly for the spouse and the dependents if they're at 100%. So there's additional funding that becomes available to the families of those individuals that were either hurt in the line of duty during their time of service. The body gets hurt, people get sick, and the VA has made a commitment to take care of veterans. And one of those other benefits is additional educational benefits that come in through Chapter 35. And that's a benefit directly for dependents and for children of veterans.
You're connected to the veteran community here in Laredo, and so if somebody has something that's not education related, chances are you're going to be able to connect them with that resource.
Yeah, so we'll connect them to other organizations or agencies. So we make a lot of referrals to the VA clinic, to the Veterans Health Administration. We also refer over for the Webb County Services Office, Texas Veterans Commission, for individuals seeking assistance to apply for a disability service. And we also refer them over to the various veteran organizations, such as the American League, the Marine Corps League, the American Legion, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, and different organizations that are out there that is still able to build on that camaraderie that we had when we were in active duty, but now we do it in our own local community with other veterans from different eras of service.
Yeah. Well, it starts with a call or a visit to the office. Albert Hernandez is the Director of Veteran Services here at Laredo College. And Albert, I know there's many other things that you can expand upon, and hopefully as we move forward, I can get you on different media so that we can continue to spread the word about what you do here on campus.
Absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely. There's so many different benefits out there. and just being able to talk about one benefit and in more detail would be of great use and knowledge out for the community.
Well, again, thank you for your service and thanks what you do for our veterans here on campus.
Thank you, I
Albert,
appreciate
thank
it.
you very much.